Welcome to Deep Dive Daily.
Good morning, Andy. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everyone who backed the Pacers. Happy Friday to anyone who had Musetti to win a set. Lousy Friday if you have Thunder futures, as you're probably looking out the window and it's looking a little gloomy all of a sudden. The Pacers are just a team of destiny. I don't know what to tell you. Let's react to the finals game one. Let's react to some of the amazing tennis going on right now. Just for perfect transparency, if you're listening to this in podcast form, it is 1-0 Musetti, about to be 1-1 as we are in a set two tiebreak with Carlos Alcaraz ahead 5-1 in the breaker. Really quickly on this, very weird match because Alcaraz has produced some quality that is like, this would be peak Nadal, but then he backs it up with the next point with just an absurdly stupid unforced error into the net after creating brilliance up to that point. So it's like, there's a very confusing dichotomy of what you're seeing from Alcaraz in this match, where the highs are so incredibly high, followed by an immediate point where he's the better player and loses the point. So don't really know what to make of that. But I know that Musetti is forcing him to really push hard and exhaust some of his reserves, which is good news for anyone hoping that Sinner ultimately has a chance against him in the final. But yeah, still a long way to go in this match. Still a long way to go for Sinner to beat Djokovic, as we talked about yesterday. I think that's going to be a lengthy match. The over games there. That's my favorite play of the day. Andy, how you doing this morning?
Oh, good. Didn't watch most of the game because I wasn't
Care about basketball.
Kind of, and I'd watched a bunch.
So you're just like everyone else who comments on the NBA. What did you think of the game then, Andy?
I caught the end. The funny part was I was flipping through Netflix. I'm like, fuck, I don't feel like watching the game. There's no tennis on. There's nothing, no baseball that I cared about. So I said, I'm gonna flip and just watch a movie. Like, it was a chill night.
What'd you watch?
Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh, that's it.
I'd never seen it. So that's one of those ones you've seen like 18 clips and all the GIFs from it on the internet for the last 10 years. Never seen the movie. And the wife was in there. I'm like we can watch a rom-com, and I love Baby Goose. So honestly, better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, it's a good
and
one.
It's funny, it finished halfway through the fourth
quarter.
quarter.
Seen that?
I know, it's just one.
It's a couple of very good performances in that movie.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Who gets the gold? Who's the top power rated performance in there for you?
Honestly, Gosling.
Gosling's
kind of he's in that groove of like, you believe he's actually that cool.
Yeah. Who's number two?
Probably John Carroll Lynch.
Wow. Okay.
As the buddy.
Take. That's a surprising take.
I just love him. He's so good in The Founder. He's so good on the Drew Carey Show. John Carroll Lynch, underrated actor. I don't know. Everyone's good. It's such a good ensemble cast, but it's funny. So the funny part, it finished for me, pausing it, going to the bathroom, and then popcorn and all that. And the timing still finished halfway through the fourth quarter. So I didn't have to watch any of this shit. Yeah, good call on Sabalenka 2-1. That was a nice shout out by you. Yesterday.
Oh yeah, thank you. That was a nice one. The tennis results yesterday were chef's kiss. Those two women's semifinals. If I could have written the script, that's what I would have written. Maybe you know what? Maybe Iga fights a little more in that third set, takes a little more damage. Does a little more damage on Sabalenka.
But whenever you talk about that, I just picture them like in Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, of course.
In the side scroll fighting.
Well,
game.
You've definitely seen tennis matches on clay where it is like Street Fighter, right? Where it's so you're literally like lands a blow right in the ribs. Anyway, the general yesterday. What
so number one, tennis was great. Crazy Stupid Love was great, and then the end of the game was. Insane. I mean, I feel for anyone who bet against that, I guess, but Jesus, like,
yeah,
it's crazy. It's like, oh, who could have seen this coming? They've only done this 5 times in the last month.
Well, the people who were probably bellyaching about not wanting to see a parade of free throws to end a game got their wish. My
Yeah.
God.
Oh, it was a nice flow. It had a nice flow. That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. It was
The
fun.
be changed, guys. Let's let it happen. It was a crazy ending, and yeah, I mean, at one point, I imagine the Thunder money line was off the board, and yet they lose. So crazy. Under was never really in doubt, although I was at one point like, oh,
overtime was looking like it.
I'm no overtime. And then I was like, oh, whoa, Indiana won? What? How could this be? I'm in a weird spot for like my rooting interest, Andy.
Yeah.
I have a very little bit of Thunder to win the title, particularly compared to what I had to win the West, right?
Yes.
And have you ever done this where you play the conference price versus the Super Bowl price, or the conference price versus the finals price, and you're like, man, you're regretting a little bit that you didn't take the bigger number. Why didn't I take the bigger number? I was feeling that way all week, and now I'm kind of like, I'm gonna feel like I can pat myself on the back if they lose, because I'm like, well, were you smart?
At the same point too,
yeah.
if you staked it 80-20 conference to finals,
yeah,
at that point too, just 90-10, 85, whatever. Yeah. At that point, even if it's smaller bet, and I guess your numbers would probably disagree with that, but at that point, I'm buying off some of it too, just to cheer
right now,
for
probably
finals.
Right now, you should.
Well, I mean, the best.
Presumably,
Pacers
everybody has a plus
best
money
Pacers
Thunder. I kind of think it's not too late to get out, and I think
no, but I'm saying
maybe
before the best price would have been before.
Consider me very concerned about the Thunder. That game yesterday was not a fluke, and there was some signal in that game that I think warrants sincere concern that the Thunder actually win this series. You want to go through them points 1 through 5?
Yeah, I mean, they just seemed to. I went back and looked at the box score. It just felt like it was always within that 10-point range. I don't know. How big did the lead get? Did I miss it?
Yeah, it was definitely at one point. It was like 15 in a fourth quarter. Yeah, it looked like the game.
Well, I did see that. Yeah, I got up to 15 there late with like half the fourth quarter left, but still not enough.
So let's talk about reasons for concern. Number one is you got outcoached. The Dagenham rotations were an absolute fucking mess. Chet Holmgren was a ghost. I don't know why he wasn't getting more run. I don't know why they were playing small towards the end. They could not get a rebound desperately when they needed one to try to put away the game. It was a very confusing decision making by Dagenham. He got his absolute lunch fed to him by Carlisle. And the other next reason for concern, the Thunder won the turnover battle, Andy, 25-7, and they lost the game. That is a fucking problem. I don't know that you're going to get those turnovers in every game that you play these guys, and you did. And now the Pacers have learned some valuable lessons like, I don't know, don't let Naismith or Turner dribble the ball. That maybe we should reduce Obi Toppin's minutes a bit, right? Like they've learned some valuable lessons, I think, to try to clean some things up, which is bad for you. And then maybe most sincerely, when you were in your closing end of game offense, the Thunder just packed the paint and let you have what you wanted around the perimeter, and you couldn't make your shots at those, in those moments. You couldn't adapt your offense. You just kept trying to hammer into the strength of their defenses. They had all of those bodies inside the arc. And I mean, if your offense is that sluggish in those moments, you might be in trouble here. And so I'm very concerned that the Thunder are in for at least a very long fight, if not outright in trouble in this series. Very, very likely, in my opinion, we come back to OKC for Game 5 at 2-2, and that Game 5 probably determines who wins this series. Sound familiar? Does it sound like the Nuggets series? Because it should. This is very, very likely a 6 or 7 game series now, having dropped this game, in my opinion. And I don't even know if the market opened 11.5 for Game 2 for the Thunder. I'm not sure why there's a premium on them now. I completely agree. And I think everyone agreed that 9.5 was the right number for game one. What exactly, like the Pacers aren't going to take their foot off the gas. They're not going to just mail one in and not try hard in game two. And I don't think that like I said, like, I don't think that things to clean up for the Thunder are that straightforward. And meanwhile, the Pacers cleanup issues are very straightforward. So you might get an even better performance out of the Pacers next time out. So the Thundy are in trouble. And and oh, by the way, the total is still 6 points too high. What is it? It's down to 227 ish. Still
in the pre-show meeting, we forgot one thing, I think, and I want to get to it. I want to get to it now because we have a limited amount of time today for a fuck around Friday, which is sad. Although these are supposed to be short podcasts, and we've had a couple Fridays go like 45 minutes. Can you pull up the optic plot?
Oh,
for the big race.
Yeah,
the big race. We can vamp a little while you're doing that, but
any reaction? Do you think I'm overreacting to the Thunder?
No, I mean just the fact that it wasn't just a game they dropped a home game. So they got to go play 2 of the next 3 are in Indianapolis. Like losing one of the next 3 isn't that unlikely, and that's a 6-game series. It's not that hard to get to a 6-game series all of a sudden, which for me is a lot more exciting.
Okay. Sounds about right. Do you more vamping time here? Do you have a thought on the do you have a thought on
the race?
Not the race, the Stanley Cup game 2. Sorry.
I think Panthers bounce back. My honest opinion is just with no statistical or quantitative backing, is it feels like both teams split the first 2 games. Like you lose a home game, you win a home game. Both teams do it. And we get to game 5 and it's, we're just reset. We got a best of 3. So Panthers second game, Oilers do steal one in Florida though as well. And we end up at game 5, 2-2. So I want that to be a good series too. That's kind of what I'm rooting for at the same time. It looks like Alcaraz is getting getting things straight, starting to avoid.
No, I mean the match has been on his racket the whole time. I mean it's
Musetti's 5-1. I mean, not right now, but Musetti was 5-1 to start the match. I haven't looked at the live odds. I think Joker takes a set. I still do. I think that's a good price. I'm scared to bet it, but I'm going to. I think you talked about that one being an over bet. I might look at a different way to bet that, but I might end up betting that over. Anyone who's not familiar with how the Belmont Stakes is set up this year, it is not your normal Belmont Stakes race because they have moved it to Saratoga.
Yeah, you see that Belmont SAR under track. SAR means Saratoga.
So Saratoga is where they're going to have it. And the race has been shortened to 1.25 miles because of the setup up there in upstate New York. So this is actually going to,
There's one I want to show you. There's a couple of really good races on Saturday, excuse me. The Metropolitan Mile, the Met Mile. Did you see who's in this race?
Just a fun name.
Have you seen who's in this race though?
No, I have not.
Look at those. Look at those top 2.
Just a touch too.
Yeah, but the
Cox horse,
the Fierceness Way to Barrio showdown. My God, you were there.
Way to Barrio sounds like a wine.
Classic.
Yeah, we did see that horse.
Yeah, then Way to Barrio has had a great season too.
It sounds like the wine wreck. Way to Barrio.
Way to Barrio.
Get a good Way to Barrio from
get a good Way to Barrio.
Yep. Spain.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
22.
23 was a good year for the Way to Barrio. The Fierceness Way to Barrio head-to-head in the Met Mile is awesome. Cannot wait for that. You're right. Just a Touch might have something to say about that also. Very, very excited for that one. But no, we want to go to who's in the Manhattan? This is $1 million purse too.
I believe that's Vermouth.
Well, yeah. This one looks like 9. pretty clearly Farbridge is going to win. All right, let's go
to the big race. Let's do the big
Belmont
race. So if you're listening in podcast form, this would be a good time to maybe check out the YouTube, because Drew has his optic plot up. It's a subscription service that, if you missed that episode, that shows some of the kind of models on it. It models kind of how the race is going to turn out.
Models the shape of the race.
Yeah, the shape of the race based on how horses have run, how other horses have run in similar races and with similar fields, and how it thinks things are going to turn out coming down the stretch and into the wire here.
This tells me a very straightforward story. You know what that is, Andy?
Yes.
What is it?
I can't see that good. I got to zoom it in.
Oh, okay. There you go.
It's kind of small for me. All right. It says...
This tells a very straightforward race. Let's look at numbers only. You don't pretend like you don't know the slots of the horses. You don't know the where they are.
I can't remember.
This tells me a very straightforward story, which is you should be looking at 2-6 as your winner only. 2-6 only, and that 7 is a potential fade, and that if there's any surprise that hits the board, it's going to be the 1. So again, if I don't know the numbers of these horses, I'm looking at putting a exacta box together of 6 and 2, right? It could be 2 over 6. It could be 6 over 2. And if I'm putting a horse underneath, I'll use 7 in the third spot in my trifecta, but I'm for sure putting 1 in there. And I'm hoping against hope that that number 1 has a surprise run and, helps you kind of juice the pot a little bit on your try price, right? Like the best outcome, I think, if we kind of then flip to the odds side of the board here, I'm pretty sure that our best outcome, again, just looking at the prices, is going to be, I didn't want to show the names, but we will show the names here, I guess. Our best price is going to be 6 over 2 over 1. So 6-2-1 is my hopeful trifecta finish here. But I guess I'm going to make my case here for Baeza, the 6. Number 1, Baeza is a closer.
I feel like somebody said it in the chat already. Someone had made a case for Baeza. I'm going to scroll up and find him.
Okay, so here's kind of one thing I want to point to. So you see these numbers on the side, 1, 3, 4, 5, 8.
Yes.
The reason that those are over there is because we don't have any data on them going this distance. The rightmost optics plot is surface and distance combined. And there are 3 horses that we have information on: Journalism, Sovereignty, and Baeza. That is because those 3 horses ran in the Kentucky Derby, which was 1.25 miles, Andy. So this is a rerun of that distance. The other horses in this race have not run 1.25 miles, so we do not know where they go, which is why they are slotted over on the side. However, if you are independent of distance and surface, this is sort of where these horses fall. And the big circles around 5 and 4 and 3, to me, Crudo, Rodriguez, and Uncaged, these are non-factors. They don't have the closing speed.
Rodriguez is the Baffert horse.
Rodriguez is the Baffert horse. He is probably your early leader. There's a decent chance Rodriguez goes out and Journalism is kind of trying to run with him, and then Journalism runs out of gas, particularly because Journalism is the only one of these horses that ran in the Preakness. Baeza and Sovereignty specifically rested and pointed to this race, and they're kind of on the more natural 1 month, 1 month, 1 month. 1 month between the Santa Anita Derby and the Kentucky Derby, 1 month between the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont for Baeza, for instance. Sovereignty, Florida Derby, 1 month, Kentucky Derby, 1 month, Belmont. So they're on their natural progression of racing. Journalism squeezed an extra sprint in there, and he won, but it was a tough race, and he's traveled more, so he's a bet against, particularly as the morning line favorite. And I think ultimately the case for Baeza is pretty straightforward. These are similar quality closers in 1.25 miles field. Sovereignty got the better trip at the Kentucky Derby, which is why he won. I think if you rewatch that race, you can convince yourself pretty clearly that if that was 1.5 miles, that Baeza was going to catch him and defeat him. I think you can also convince yourself if you go through all of the data for Baeza that he is more lightly raced and he is younger and he is progressing, clearly progressing from race to race more so than what we've seen from any of these other competitors, and that he has probably not run his best race, and that is likely to come on Saturday as we have the 3 best horses of the 3-year-olds in Sovereignty, Journalism, and Baeza, and I think each one of them takes a triple crown jewel. Thoughts?
Difference between squares and circles again.
Squares close, circles fade.
That's what. Okay. But the size of the circle means less fading.
No. The bigger the circle, the bigger the fade. The bigger the square, the better the close.
That's what I'm saying. So
the size is indicative of the direction, right? So
because Baeza showing as a little bit of a fade, but less so than all the other faders.
So Crudo,
but they're not going to put
you kind of turn your head at a 45-degree angle. This is telling you that Rodriguez and Crudo, Journalism, and maybe Baeza are going to be at or near the front of the race, right? And that of those 4 horses, Crudo is going to fade the hardest and probably finishes last. Uncaged also fading. So 4 and 5 are clear tosses. 3 is probably a toss.
As far as closing, the bigger the square, the better the close.
Yes.
But looking at the factor position, 7 might just be too far back.
7's going to be pretty close to the front.
Or excuse me, 1 and 8 might be too far back to close.
It's possible for sure.
But I mean, the positioning on this chart of Heart of Honor, and Hill City Beer or whatever it is, they're compared to 7 on the
Heart of Honor and Hill Road they could be too far back, and we also we don't really know how they stack up in terms of closing quality at 1.25 miles the way we do know for Sovereignty and Baeza based on the data we got from Kentucky Derby. I guess I should note also that, because this is important, the plot fit is red. So that's not so basically saying that this is the data weekly supports these conclusions. The contention is snowflake, which means it's not going to be a fight for the lead. It's probably just going to be Rodriguez. And then the speed rating is low, which means we're not necessarily expecting pace melt. This could just be honest pace, maybe even slow pace. And in particular, if this was not a strong field, right? If this was not a graded stakes, this combination here would suggest that if you have speed in the race, they might just go and win, especially
just wire to wire. Like, hey, you're fast.
They might just wire to wire, right? Like this combination of cold and slow were the exact conditions for the Wood Memorial, where Rodriguez went wire to wire, but that was a weaker field.
All right, hey, we got a few minutes left. Coco Sabs, we're on Baeza. I
am going to ride out my Coco.
I was going to say, don't bet it. You shouldn't bet it, but
no, I'm Coco. Anyone with Coco in the 6-1 range. Interesting. With first of all, very noted horse and tennis guy. Brett thinks Sovereignty is a better play at 2-1 than Baeza at 3-1. That's interesting. I'm expecting that Baeza is going to be the longer price at post. I think Sovereignty closes the favorite. I was kind of shocked that that Aranga, the man in charge of the morning line prices, made Journalism the top choice in this race. That was a stone cold stunner. I think Sovereignty closes the favorite, and I think Baeza is going to be the better price, even though I would put those horses side by side. Coco, I'm just going to ride this out. I think she can move. She's going to have a lot more interest in rallying with Sabalenka than we saw with Iga. If you watch that match, the Iga Sabalenka was literally just throwing haymakers, going for winners on every single shot, right?
Knockout shots.
Yeah, particularly in the first 2 sets, and then Iga just lost her shit and couldn't hit anything. And the deal with Coco Sabalenka is the fair price should be in the -177 range, in my opinion. But here's where it kind of gets interesting, which is I think Coco can move her more. Sabalenka she was lurching like Frankenstein out there. trying to, kind of get side to side. She's very unnatural on clay. Like her movement is it just looks uncomfortable. And I'm expecting that Coco is going to try to move her around, really force her out of her comfort zone. And I think that could work. But this all comes down to one number on the stat sheet for Coco. Do you want to guess what that number is?
Unforced errors.
No, it is first serve percent.
I suppose double faulting.
If her first serve percent is above 50%, I think Coco wins. If it is below 50%, I think she loses. And realistically, she probably needs to be more like 60% to win. So we are very hopeful that Coco gets her first serve in. Otherwise, she is a sitting duck. Her second serve will be free points for Sabalenka on return. Really, the big deal here is that I think Coco can really she can frustrate Sabalenka because she's going to break her for sure. There will be at least 4 breaks of Sabalenka's serve across this match, maybe 6. And it's going to come down to, can Coco hold her serve, particularly in the close moments, in the high leverage moments. Musetti either tanking or just completely getting outplayed at long last here.
If you didn't have a future that you were writing out, what would you think of the total in the final?
I would think it is low because there will be breaks. There will probably be a tie break. There could very well be 3 sets. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, unless Coco just it doesn't feel like this is a Coco dominates. If Coco dominates, you still probably get 23 games, even if it's 2-0. Like it is.
That's just it. Is if a Coco dominates means that a Coco domination means she breaks Sabalenka 80% of her service games, which seems crazy, but is possible.
But she still gets broke back.
But she still gets broken back, right?
And then you end up with 7-6-6-4. Which yes. What is the total? I haven't looked. Is it 22 and a half?
We are at. I can give you an over 22 and a half at plus 108, Andy. I can give you an over 22 at minus 104.
So I might be a play because it feels like Coco domination is still 23 games, maybe 26. Maybe 25, 26, a 7-5, 7-6. But I guess there's a chance that Arena just rips her apart. And at that point, you lose. 3 sets feels like it's happening.
Aragona is the best in the biz. He likes by. He's like, oh, good, okay. Coco needs to force as many 5+ shot rallies as she can. I completely agree with. She had no rally tolerance yesterday versus Iga, and Iga didn't want to rally her for some reason, which I thought was strange, especially in that third set when I think Sabalenka's legs were definitely the question mark to be asked. All right. Jeff said, why do I like the 1 more than the 8 when the 8 square is bigger and the 8 is 3 times the price? You're very correct, Jeff. I should have mentioned the 8 in the trifecta as well. I will have the 1 and the 8 down there. 1/8. I'm going to go 6-2, 2-6 over 1-8-7.
1-8-7 on a
That's my trifecta.
I'll play it. I'm gonna go find my horses.
Okay. Is Good Cheer running in the Acorn? I didn't even look.
I have no idea, man.
Do you remember Good Cheer?
I haven't looked at any of the horse
undefeated
stuff.
Undefeated 3-year-old filly. Let's see. She's probably running in the Acorn, right? Let's see. Gotta be, right? Good Cheer is the number 2 horse in the Acorn, and she is 1-2. Ow! Wow. I guess she's just winning.
Is there an Acorn Belmont double?
Oh, of course. Sure. There are no other obvious choices in the mix in the Acorn. Okay. Wine of the week. What are you having this week, Andy?
I don't have a lot of plans for the weekend. So we're going camping.
Me too. I love it.
I bought a new hatchet just in case I need a hatchet, like the book Hatchet. I got my kid like a multi-tool, like a small one. So he has something that, he needs.
Does it have a corkscrew or are we going screw top?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm bringing wine. Like, you just sit there and watch me get drunk. It's just me and him. Like, Dad, you're sleepy. Yeah,
You need wine in a bladder. That way
that's
you're not
true. I think
carrying the glass.
I'll probably just bring water. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm doing much for grilling, or maybe I'll have to.
Hmm.
Honestly, some bratwurst, possibly. Chicken. I have a bunch of chicken at home. Probably, you know what? I have some wings. I have some fresh wings. I'm probably gonna do some fresh wings, and I'm gonna grill some asparagus because I have unlimited asparagus. Are you familiar with the show, Peep Show?
No.
British comedy. I can't think of his name now. And I don't know what this is from. It's like a skit from something else. But David Mitchell, he does this thing about, like, he's like, hey, get in here. And he explains farming. He's like, the fucking corn comes out of the ground. You can just sell it. He's like, and it just keeps going. It's the same thing I get going on. I just have unlimited asparagus. I have more. The infinite money glitch for raspberries, that just keeps going. A new raspberry bush pops up every day. So
if you got asparagus, if you got raspberries, if you're going wings, go for get a nice screw top rosé. It's rosé season.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a agree this weekend. Got a nice cold one that I'm gonna take camping. We're going camping as well. We'll be up at Big Bear Lake. Very excited for that. And yeah, I love a nice cold rosé when it's a hot day camping. Yeah, even if you don't have a corkscrew on your on your multi-tool, then doesn't matter if you take the screw top. And there's a lot of good options. The one I have in mind, I will need a screw top for. It's a Gris from Domaine de Fontaine, which is a nice little appellation in south of France. It's kind of a good, kind of goes with anything rosé. So yeah, get yourself into the rosé business because it's summertime. All right, man, let's wrap. I gotta go. I got
Yep.
I'm running late actually, but that's all good. It was fun podcast. Luck to Coco. Best of luck to Sinner. Although
Aisa, the horse.
Best luck to the Thunder. They're gonna need it.